Hong Kong officials and Chinese state media warned of consequences if violence continued, as a third straight day of protests disrupted traffic across the city, and the government announced for the first time that it would actually close public schools. Well, joining us now from Hong Kong is our Iain Marlow. He's our Bloomberg Asia government reporter. Iain, is it getting worse than it was? And what happens next? It's, as a foreigner far, it's difficult to see how this ends.
Yeah, exactly. I think the last few days have seen some really unprecedented levels of violence ever since last Friday, when a student passed away after falling from a parking garage with some police dispersal operations nearby. The city's been on edge. There's been lots of memorials, rallies, protests that have gotten really out of hand. And the last couple of days in particular, 3 straight days since Monday, when a protester was shot early Monday morning, we've seen disruptions of the morning commute. We've seen lunchtime rallies in the central financial district with tear gas being shot off in front of luxury stores. Some pretty dramatic images of office workers participating in some of the protests. And it's getting a little bit worse. We have campuses now closing down. Last night there were some really dramatic scenes of police trying to storm into the Chinese University of Hong Kong. Some protesters using slingshots and throwing Molotov cocktails back at cops who were just drenching the campus with tear gas. And so some pretty remarkable scenes here.
Peter, Shenzhen is 16 miles away, I believe it is. Maybe it's 30 miles. I can't remember right now. There's got to be some form of response by Chinese military at some point. Are we anywhere near that point?
It's hard to say. I think definitely in recent days, it's looked like the police have been caught off guard, maybe caught unawares, yes, or have some officers caught in situations where there's escalation. But China has from the very beginning kind of been pushing this a narrative that the Hong Kong police here have their full support, and the government has constantly said that they don't need support from the mainland. But interestingly, this evening, there was an answer to a lawmaker's question in Parliament that they're actively looking at supplementing the police force here.
I mean, I would respectfully suggest, Iain, with your wonderful coverage and the team's coverage, that is the great mystery for so many in America, is the relationship of the different polices of Hong Kong with the Chinese mainland police. Is there a linkage?
Not really. I mean, there's a People's Liberation Army garrison that's stationed in Hong Kong, but those officers, those military officers, have not been involved in the ongoing protests. There's also the People's Armed Police, which is the sort of mainland equivalent of a police force that looks at sort of domestic disturbances, public order, and that sort of thing. A lot of experts have actually said that it would be less dramatic in some ways to have the People's Liberation Army garrison in Hong Kong come out and start helping with the protests, rather than have mainland police officers coming in from Shenzhen. But at the moment, neither of those have been fully contemplated or considered.